The penultimate outing of Thursday Night Motorsport, live, exclusive and free for you across the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club and where else but Willow Springs in California. Our second trip to California for the week, both for open wheelers. For the Formula 3s, it was the concrete canyon of Long Beach. For Formula V, it's the wide open spaces of one of the underrated circuits in world motorsport, Willow Springs International Raceway. Good evening, everybody. Zach Caven alongside Matt Schmidtke. Very tight for time off the top tonight. Welcome to the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, live, exclusive and free across Facebook and YouTube for a full night of sprint racing. First up, Formula V for Disruptive Labs. And then, of course, on to the final two-race sprint round of the Porsche Cup. Open split first, elite split second, coming to you live from St. Petersburg in Florida. 10 o'clock local server time, 10 kilometre an hour winds, easterly direction, standard procedure really for Formula V at the moment. 22 degrees, the ambient, 30 on track. Dry conditions so far. Not the biggest field in the world, only 19, but we'll go for quality over quantity, shall we? Formula V championship points. Braden Sagasta 829 tied with Sam Chapman. Can you believe that? And Chapo's not here either. John Merritt, Lockie Purvis, Adam Lavis, Derek Fitzgerald, Ryan Tate, Michael Adams, Jordan Pianozola and Brendan Nealon make up the top 10. Merritt's only 10 points away, and Lockie Purvis is only 44 points off the leaders as well. And Adam Lavis is only 59 away from the leaders at the moment. So between those five, we'll wait and see who prevails tonight. John Merritt is on the outside of the front row. Lockie Purvis grabbed the pole position in qualifying here by 0.05 of a second. Adam Lavis, Ryan Tate from 2, Braden Sagasta, Derek Fitzgerald from 3, Sam Chapman and Brett Bradbury from 4, Michael Adams and Glenn Sederadell from 5. Tony Baker and Adam Proctor from 6, Brendan Nealon, Michael Fisher from 7, Mark Register and Will Ramsden from 8, Jordan Pianozola, John Simpson and Tristan Yellen make up the field. Where's me mate Boydo? He's not here. Boydo is not in the house. That's unfortunate. We've enjoyed having Boydo's presence the last couple of weeks. Hopefully he'll be back for the Bend next week, although I think he said something about not being available for that one. So it might be a case of see you next season. G. Boyden. Matt Schmidtke, good evening. I'll get to you in a moment. Ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. 25th race of the season. First to 3 for the night. Let's go racing. Willow brings up an enormous jump start from Brendan Nealon. What on earth was that? Drive-through penalty coming the way of Nealon. That was almost not dissimilar to Mark Scaife. Eastern Creek, or Sydney Motorsport Park as it's now known, back in 1997. Unbelievable. Have a look at this though. John Merritt leads from the front, Lockie Purvis in behind, then Adam Lavis, Ryan Tate. Not the best qualifying for Braden Sagasta. He slots into 5th, but you probably don't want to lead from the front around here. Matt Schmidtke, good evening to you.
Good evening, Zach. How are you? Yep, the front is probably not the best place to be, as there's going to be a lot of drafting around here and some good pack battles, hopefully.
Top 10 invert for race 2. Top 15 invert for race 3. 2 black flags handed out at the start. The other one to John Simpson. So Nealon and Simpson out of business early on here. And of course went, oh no, there goes Derek Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's gone. And with him goes Pianozola. There's an enormous crash further back in the pack. Look at this. They're scattered everywhere around the Willow Springs International Raceway. Oh my goodness. Simpson, Ramsden, Bradbury, Fitzgerald, Fisher, Nealon all involved. Pianozola goes up into 14th, up 3 spots. Nealon's there ahead of him. He's coming to pit lane. Have a look at this down the main straight. Let's go 3 wide for the first of many times tonight, I get the feeling. Onto the main straight we go, across the start-finish line. 1 minute 40 is going to be about that threshold you feel, which means 6 laps for the opening heat and 9 for the other 2. Across the line we go. Lavis wants to lead from the front, will do so. Can hold sway around the outside here. It's one of those racetracks where you can make it work. Although I wouldn't encourage you to take the dirt track, Braden Sagasta. Or was that Lockie Purvis? That was one of the 1-9 entries. Have a look at this. This will be the best race you see all season, ladies and gentlemen. And the challenge will be to try and match it or better it when we get to the Bend next week. 3 wide. Whoa! Adam Lavis barely survived there, but he dropped a whole host of spots. Dropped down to 5th spot. Cito up the outside. Purvis into 3rd. Sagasta makes his move and makes it stick to 2nd. John Merritt leads the way in California. Mechanical meatball for John Simpson now as well. He's trying to limp it back to the lane, has managed to do so. A war of attrition on that opening lap. Nealon's cleared his black flag for the jump start. And I think Johnny's got a mechanical and a black flag on top of that, so he's got the whole host of them. Trouble Brett Bradbury. Now,
seems they all just tried to scatter to avoid the spun car there.
Now, Chapo said something about going overseas. Am I right in assuming that he's got his overseas setup already set up and he's utilising that tonight? Yeah, there he is. Right,
I'm not sure.
Because he did say something about going overseas, packing up everything and going out Friday morning, did he not, last week when he was here in the booth with us?
I can't remember.
Oh, actually, no, you weren't here. It was Neely that was here because we spoke to him after the Porsches.
Yeah,
my short-term memory's not that good enough.
Mentioning going overseas a couple of weeks ago, something about a PSVR to take with.
I mean, if he's using that tonight, but it's going all right for him so far. He's just keeping his nose clean and staying out of trouble. Yeah, okay, he's dropped 3 spots, but at least he's still pointing straight. Or at least it's not like a couple of weeks ago where he was ready to throw the bathwater out of the bath. Remember that? He had a full sense of humour meltdown a couple of weeks ago. He had us on standby to have the dump button or the 7-second delay at Barber. That was only last week. He was out of here with the tail dangling between his legs last Thursday night, fearing that the season might be done there and then. This race might be done because it's a race in 2 right now. Ryan Tate, Adam Lavis have been left behind. Adam Proctor, Michael Adams, Tony Baker as well. Look at Merritt and Sagasta, 2 championship combatants having at it and leading from the front. The thing that does work for Chapman is that he has got 2 drop rounds at his disposal. One is 111, one is 104. But what works against that is that 150 is what is up for grabs as far as 3 race wins from 3 starts is concerned. And that's before you even consider the bonus points that come into the equation. The clean race, the fastest lap, 3 wide to turn 1. Hold on to it, boys. Well done. Most positions gained. Clean race. Pole position, of course, there's qualifying bonus points all there as well. So there's many little 1%ers that you got to nail here along the way. And last week, 144 for Lockie Purvis, 143 for Merritt, and 135 for Sagasa. So this is why Chapo's here. He can't afford to rest on his laurels at the moment. Ryan Tate, that was wild. And Michael Adams up around his outsiders, got by Adam Lavis. Sagasa gets a warning for the contact on Adam Lavis on lap 2. So that's probably what set off this chain reaction whereby there's a big gap between first, second and the rest. But we wouldn't have it any other way, would we? We're happy to have the 2 championship combatants having out at the front of this field. The problem is going to be them working their way through the field in the 2 inverts tonight. And it's almost a full invert, really. There's only 19 in this race. The invert's 15 for race 3. And with the expected attrition, someone will probably rage quit along the way. Schmidtke probably have 1 or 2 less along the way. Oh, dear. Now, big night of sport. Big night of sport. We'll stay across it as best we can. Swimming underway. That's on 9 in Victoria and South Australia and Tasmania. It's on 9 Gem everywhere else because of Thursday night NRL. Souths and Brisbane duking it out there in Sydney. And of course, we've got the Western Bulldogs up against Adelaide in the AFL. We'll stay across that as best we can. The Australians in royal strife in their one-day international against Bangladesh. The rain may well save their bacon from going 2-0 down in the series. I'll get back to that as soon as we get a chance. Huge Thursday night of sport, and of course we had a massive day with the latest thriller in the NBA Finals as well. Daniel Sneddon and I were really enjoying the show that was put on there by the New York Knicks. Now, there's Derek Fitzgerald to the inside. Whoa! Well, that's wild as well. We're in the Wild West, on the west coast of America, and he had that 90 degrees in the wrong direction. And somehow the contact with the ripple strip saved him. That was spinning round for all money, and he somehow caught it. But he's dropped down below that train of cars behind Michael Fisher and Tristan Yellen now. And Jordan Pianazzola's at the head of that train. Off goes Johnny Simpson again. Second off for him tonight. He's also a lap down, it's important to note. We've got Purvis having stopped in pit lane for 32 seconds. What was that all about? 10-second penalty for Purvis, racing room contact. Ah, right. So Purvis has had to come to pit lane to get some damage repaired. Maybe he's picked up a penalty as well along the way. Michael Adams to the inside of Ryan Tate. White flag in the air, it should be, surely. Is Barney out? I haven't seen him yet. I think we've got a white flag in the air. Yes, we do. We should do.
Yeah,
I think I'm
not sure. He didn't
maybe
seem
not.
to be waving it there.
Maybe not. So maybe we're going to sneak in a 7th. We have dipped below that 1 minute 40 threshold, so they may sneak an extra one in based on timing. They may sneak in a 7th. I doubt they'll sneak a 10th in the race a little bit later on. I think it might be 7 and 9 based on those numbers. Tristan Yelland off the road, drops down to 12th. Michael Fisher goes to the invert. So keep your eyes on this, folks, because I think I think you're right, Schmitty. I think touch and go. I think we're going to see a 7th lap predominantly play out in overtime, but at least they'll get back to the line before the 10-minute mark definitively. Thorn Weggett, sucks that I had to miss this one. I do apologise, mate. I'm terrible at responding to Discord messages, and I saw yours in my message requests this afternoon. I'll get back to it as soon as I can. Good to know that you'll be back for next week. Right, so we should have white. Yes, we will have a white flag. We've got back to the line well before the 10-minute marker. Brilliant. Across the line we go. Meriden Sagasa for the first bragging rights of the night. To turn 1. The V's doing V things as usual. Yes, I agree with you, Kurt Nommerson. It's great, isn't it? It's terrific. We wouldn't have it any other way. It's a shame that you're feeling under the weather, though. Feel better soon. See you next week, hopefully. Round we go. Last roll of the dice. Can Merritt continue his winning ways? He picked up the race 1 victory at both Brands Hatch and last week, of course, at Barber Motorsport Park. He didn't race the first 2 rounds. He's trying to come from giving everybody the head start, giving himself no drop rounds to fall back on. He only jagged his first win of the campaign in race 3 at Tsukuba. And he's only grabbed 3 race wins this season. Braden Sagasa has been here from the outset and has put his name forward as a championship contender from the outset in Mexico. This will go right down to the wire. Sagasa's going to lead him back to the main straight, but we'll wait and see what Merritt's got up his sleeve in the last roll of the dice. The slipstream's important here, and Merritt's got a good run. The last corner here at Willow Springs International. First bragging rights of the night. Who draws first blood? Will it be 1-9 or will it be Pulse Tuning? Main straight, checkered flag. Sagasa tries to break the toe. It's like Joseph Newgarden all over again, and it will do the job for Braden Sagasa. He's back in victory lane in Formula V. How good is that? He picked up a race win in rounds 1, 2, and 4. We didn't see him at Tsukuba. He hasn't picked up a race win since round 7 at Brands Hatch. He's back in victory lane, his 5th win of the season. And probably one of his more impressive ones, let's be fair, to hold off John Merritt the way that he did. Oh, scintillating stuff. And how good's that too, Matt Schmidtke? Because we got back to the line before the threshold of 10 minutes, we got about 11 minutes worth of Formula V, and the more the better, I say.
Yeah, that was a pretty good last lap. Merritt just didn't quite get the run on Sagasa there, but it was very close. And Zach,
maybe the slipstream toe is not as strong as we give it credit for.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it seems to vary sometimes. Some weeks it seems very strong and others not so much. And Zach, if you haven't seen the news, there is actually 2 new Vs to be looking at.
There are 2 new Vs to be looking at, but there's also the big news from pit lane, and that is that Sam Chapman did not make it home. I saw him on the tow rope on pit road. So Chapo's come home in last, I think you'll find. Let's have a look at the results here. Yeah, the only one that he beat home was John Simpson. So Chapo has not made it home. Sagassa from Merritt, then Ryan Tate, Adam Lavis, Adam Proctor. Geez, that was close between those 3. Have a look at that. Only 0.05 between Tate and Lavis, and then Proctor only 0.04 back from that. So that was a nice little 3-wide photo finish. Michael Adams made it 4 wide, in fact. And Michael Adams missed out completely in 6th spot there, but by a bee's proverbial. Tony Baker, Derek Fitzgerald, Jordan Pianazzola and Michael Fisher made up the top 10. Fisher gets pole for the invert. Pianazzola alongside him. Derek Fitzgerald, Tony Baker, Michael Adams, Adam Proctor, Adam Lavis, Ryan Tate, John Merritt, Braden Sagassa the top 10. Brett Bradbury, Will Ramsden, Tristan Yellen, Mark Register, Brendan Nealon, Glenn Cedar, Riddell make up the 16 that are going to start the first 8 rows of the grid. Lockie Purvis on pit road, and starting from pit road, and off goes Glenn Cedar, Riddell. From the start, John Simpson and Sam Chapman have made an interesting getaway. Chapo's up 3 spots already. We're 3 wide, 3 rows deep we were there off the outset. Fisher's slotted into 3rd spot. Fitzgerald to 2nd. Pianazzola leads at Willow Springs. Now, why on earth was Lockie Purvis starting from pit lane? That's a strange one. And does his night no favours whatsoever. Chapo's got a fair bit of work to do now because of the fact that he's registered 17th with the scorers on the opening race of the night. Mark Register, no further action, but avoidable contact with car. Oh, Chapo, yeah, righto. So multiple cars, lap 7, race 1. So there was a big one on the way home, and that's why Chapo ended on the tow rope. Off goes Johnny Simpson. He's getting very well acquainted with the dirt and the non-bitumen parts of the real estate around Willow Springs tonight, unfortunately, is Johnny Simpson. Oh, big one. Bradbury, Ramsden and Yelland. All in strife. Yelland on the tow rope. I'll come back to your point about the 2 new Formula Vs that we've got coming to iRacing Land this week, Matt Schmidtke. I'll come back to that as soon as we get half a chance. We haven't got a chance to come up for air at the moment. Look at this. 2 by 2 onto the main straight. Pianazzola, Baker, Fitzgerald, Merritt, Lavis, Tate, trying to latch on and go with them. And if they can, 10-car battle pack looming large here. Chapman is 11th and Nealon. They need to work together to try and push one another along and join this train. It's almost like we're watching them at Talladega. I love Willow Springs. As soon as I saw this on the calendar, I said, well played. It is a wonderful circuit. It's been a great addition to the server. We never have a bad race here. Can we just bring that weather totem pole back up on the right-hand side? 3 mechanical black flags on the opening lap there, Bradbury, Ramsden and Yellen. That's taking the you-know-what, isn't it, Schmitty? Because the race is happening at exactly the same time as race 1.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice.
That's got to be a glitch, hasn't it?
No, you can set it to take place at exactly the same time, so not sure why it's been done like that, neither do I, but that's how it is.
No. It's almost like someone's hit the rewind button. But everything's changed. Pianazzola got hung out to dry there. He had 2 wheels in the dirt. He nearly had 2 wheels into the side of Derek Fitzgerald. And John Merritt's on the outside already. 3 wide. Something has to give here. In fact, we're 4 wide. We're 5 wide at Willow Springs. Oh, that is Colin on. Right flank. How lucky was Adam Lavis to get away with that one? Pianazzola escaped somehow. Anchors. Unbelievable. Bad luck for Ryan Tate. The only one left behind in all of that somehow, and he's got a mechanical meatball for his trouble.
How he managed to slice straight through the middle of that pack and not skittle all of them is incredible.
That's ridiculous. And we're still 4 wide down the main straight. Now we settle down, it's only 3. 3 wide for 3rd, 4th and 5th as well. 3 wide for 7th, 8th and 9th. To turn 1 we go. You're running out of room, boys. I agree with you, Thorne. We need it back all season, every season. We've seen 5 wide at the Island before. Now we've seen it at Willow Springs. How good is this? 2 distinct battle packs right there in shot. In the line of sight. And barely any margin for error. I feel for Ryan Tate. How unlucky can you be? The only one to get caught up in all of that. Something had to give. And unfortunately, he and Piano Zola came together. Jordan somehow is still managing to hold on to 10th. The invert pole at the moment belongs to Lockie Purvis in 15th, 1 minute 37.488. I see what Lockie's up to. This is gamesmanship on his part. I'm calling gamesmanship, right? And I'm going to ask him about it when he joins us for a chat post-race in the booth. This is just him setting himself up for pole in the feature so that he's got a clear run at a race win. It's the only thing I can think of, the only rational explanation that's coming to mind at the moment. Round onto the main straight we go again. Have a look at this. The first and second packs now merged into one super pack, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. And down the inside, the Pulse Tuning boys gang up on everybody. And look at the push that Chapman got on the outside from Adam Proctor. To turn 1 we go. Whoa, there goes Michael Adams. And then there were 10. So that's Adams and Tate that have been left behind in all of this. Have a look at that sea of Pulse Tuning entries. 4 in the top 10 at the moment. Neil on 10th. And of course, Cito, Tony Baker and John Merritt all arguing over 4th, 5th and 6th right now. What about the run from Chapo? This is fantastic stuff. Phenomenal. He needs this result. Needs to redeem what was a disappointing end to race 1. 6 minutes gone, 9 minutes to go. It's touch and go as to whether it's 9 or 10 laps this second heat, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thinking we're going to get 10 here. The slipstream in full swing here. That was a moment for Chapo. He lost a heap of ground. Now he's dropped into about 6th in the running order. Behind Adam Proctor. Fitzgerald back to 4th. Jordan Pianazola's back up to 3rd. He was almost out of the race 2 laps ago. He's back up to 3rd. And he's pushing Braden Sagassa through on the inside of John Merritt. So the 2 blokes that let us home at the end of race 1 have found their way back to the front. But look at the company they keep right now. Pick a lane, boys. Poor old Cito doesn't know which lane to choose. Down the main straight. Have a look at this. 4 wide again. This is why we turn up on a Thursday night. This is why we love it, ladies and gentlemen. Turn 1. Adam Laver's hung out wide there by Pianazzola, who's been ganged up on and has been shuffled back to about 7th in the running order. Laver's down on his inside. Adam Proctor, the next target. He's eyeing off Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald is eyeing off Chapman, who's side by side with Sagassa, and Baker and Merritt lead a Pulse Tuning 1-2 at the moment. There are parts of the circuit, boys, where I wouldn't advise 4 wide. This is one of those sections. I actually thought, let's not joke about that, I have asked to put these boys on at Daytona or Talladega. I just reckon it'd be fantastic. I reckon next term, actually maybe Daytona or Talladega is too big a circuit. You could probably still get the desired racing effect at Texas, maybe. But I reckon we need a Formula V oval race just to see the shenanigans that would ensue. Whoa, Adam Proctor down on the inside. He's pushing Pianazzola along. They both gang up and get by Fitzgerald. Pianazzola picked up a warning for an unsafe rejoin a few moments ago. That might have been in the incident with Ryan Tate. Back onto the main straight we go. 8 minutes gone. We're only half race distance. And once more, the pack of 10 has been divided by 2. It's 4 and 6. 4 wide. Whoa! Up the outside goes Cito. move. Pianazzola had to give way there. Zito on the inside of Adam Proctor and goes to P5. Zito wants to get back up in the lead battle pack here. He wants to get up the pointy end again. But he's got to see off the threat of Pianazzola, Proctor, Lavis, Fitzgerald and Nealon. And Lavis has a top 5 championship finish. Riding on all of this. The misfortune for purposes. Oh no, there we go. Jordan's gone. So it won't matter about the warning for the unsafe rejoin. He's out of it. Oh, that wasn't a case of deja vu there at all, ladies and gentlemen. That wasn't an unsafe rejoin at all. You're not seeing anything. No. In fact, to be fair, I reckon that was unsafer than the first one. Oh dear. Now Sam Chapman is back in front. Chapo is back in front. Gas has now got him. And so too does Merritt. And so too does Tony Baker. I reckon he wants a piece of it as well. Johnny Simpson's off the road again. Maybe we need a Formula V rallycross round. Geez, there's been some whippersnipping done and some dirt kicked up around here tonight. Down the main straight. Let's go 3 wide. So that's Johnny Merritt to the front. It's Tony Baker on his outside. It's Chapo on both their outsides. Pianazzola's got a meat ball. He needs to come to pit lane to clear that. Good pick up, Kurt Nommensen. That was all in the rejoin. You're absolutely right. Chapo nearly locking wheels with John Merritt. As he goes back to the front. Hold your breath, Australia. This is far from done. Although my voice box is in better nick than what it was this time last week at Barber Motorsport Park. Jeez, I struggled. Up around the outside is Chapman. He's got Merritt for company. Tony Baker's there in support. He's going to go to the inside of his teammate for the moment. Braden Sagasa just sitting patiently, idly by in 4th right now. And it's all to play for. The final laps of this second race. I'm just having a look at where we're going to be. It'll be 3 to go at the line, I reckon. Adam Proctor is off the road again. The invert pole currently being held by Brett Bradbury, Will Ramsden, Brendan Nealon, Jordan Pianazzola, all on pit road. Tristan Yelland out there a lap down, all being caught up in incidents so far. Round they come. Chapo's out well wide. Back to the main straight. Now, it's a 1 minute 37 lap time here, so let's go across the start-finish line and see how this plays out. 1 minute 37 and 2 is 3:14, so our threshold is 11:46. We're good for 3 laps, ladies and gentlemen, and we're 4 wide again. That's an incredible photo finish to determine this race if they do that again on lap 10. We're going 10 laps at Willow Springs. That also sets us up beautifully for race 3. So Gas has found his way back to the front. We saw this last week, didn't we, Schmitty? You can be 4th at the start of the final lap and still win this thing.
Yep, you certainly can. You just got to get the car in the right spot behind who you need to be and then drive through to the front just at the right time. I'm not sure where exactly that is on this track, but it could be a couple of places, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hold your breath, everybody. We're not done yet. Chapo's got his nose in front for the moment. This will be one of the great wins of Chapo's GSRC career. If he can pull it off, it's unbelievable. He talks about shooting himself in the foot by booking overseas travel that coincides with GSRC competition. Will that be what brings him undone again next week? We will wait and see. We will have 2 laps to go at the line. It is terrific to have your company, and if you're just joining us, stick around because there's one more where this one came from. Still to come before we go to St. Petersburg in Florida, I should say, for the Porsche Cup. 4 wide. Go on, Adam, make it 5. Go on, through the middle, make it 5 wide. No, not yet. Adam Lavis, what a charge from him to be 5th with the 4 that have been prominent at the front of this field for so long. It's unbelievable. It's extraordinary. Yeah, don't leave, Kurt. Don't leave. McDonald's will still be there at 8:30. Merritt, Sagasa, Chapman, Baker, Lavis. Baker to the inside of Chapman. Have a look at Lavis. Remember, 4 of these men are in championship point scoring contention. The odd one out is Tony Baker. Let's just hold the breath. Or get our breath, I should say, ready to rock and roll for this final lap, because this could be one of the best we've ever seen in Formula V. Up on the outside of Chapman is Baker. Sagasa and Merritt have done what they did earlier on and broken clear. That's a fair point, Kurt. White flag flies. Let's go one more time around. Merritt's going to lead him at the strike. Sagasa on the outside. Baker, he moves across. Chapman pushes Merritt through. Lavis is there. Really, it's a Lexus of Melbourne Pulse tuning party with a couple of gate crashes. There are 3 of them in the fight. Sagasa to the outside. Have a look at this at turn 2. He gets hung out to dry. Lavis down on his inside. Merritt. Baker's going to lead this one out of turn 2. Whoa, contact and gone! Merritt has set his teammate Tony Baker into oblivion! Unbelievable! What is going on there? Goes to the front. Lavis to second. Chapman and Sagasa third and fourth. And Merritt all of a sudden back in 5th. What the hell? This has been some of the best Formula V racing we've seen all year. We knew it was going to take off at some point. Round 9 was the night. If you had that on your bingo card, well done. Because we knew Willow Springs was going to bring the action and deliver the goods, and it hasn't let us down so far. Cito leads. Sagasa's only a thousandth of a second away. Now he's around the outside. Now he's got his nose in front. Into the main straight. Here we go. Photo finish number 2 of the night. Cito leads us. Lavis has got himself up in a second. Will there be a late charge from Merritt or Chapman or Sagasa? Here we go. The run to the flag. Cito's got his nose in front. Now it's Adam Lavis. Cito Lavis. Have a look at this. Chapman, Riddell, Merritt. Forward. Photo finish. Adam Lavis. Back in victory lane and Disruptive runs Formula V by 0.02 of a second. 0.3 covered the top 5. Sagasa the unlucky one in all of that. The millions, Sam Chapman gets second. 0.12 covered the top 4. Unbelievable. And that is why it's always going to be the hottest ticket in town on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Holy smoke. Sam Chapman, Glenn Cito, John Merritt. After this incident with Tony Baker, Merritt's going to cop himself a 10-second penalty. To add insult to injury. What a wild ride from Tony Baker. He was able to limp it home in 9th. Michael Adams in for 6th. Lockie Purvis, Michael Fisher. Purvis started from pit lane and still got 7th. That tells you everything you need to know about how wild that thing was. Then Derek Fitzgerald in for 11th. John Simpson, Mark Register, Ryan Tate and Brett Bradbury's got the invert pole for Heat 3. But good luck topping what we saw in Heat 2. My goodness. Four wide at the line. And this is what happened earlier to Ryan Tate and Jordan Pianazzola. How Pianazzola stayed on the track after all of that is beyond me. And impeccable timing from you as well, Matt Schmidt. Can you get that replay in when you did? Boy. I love Formula V. Can someone get iRacing out here to not just scan some more Australian circuits, but also the Hyundai Excel, because that'll be the tin top equivalent of what you just saw. My goodness. One of, if not the best Formula V race I think we have ever seen. And by gee, we've seen a good few over the years. That might go down as one of the best. Unreal. 0.11 covered the top four. Braden Sagassa unlucky, 3/10 back. Adams, Purvis, Fisher, Baker, Proctor. That will hurt John Merritt. What did you get, 5 or 10 seconds?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I missed it.
10, I think. And if that's the case, he's going to drop all the way down to where Michael Fisher is. Unluckily, actually, he'll be 7th, just ahead. If it was 5, he's behind Sagassa, but I think it was 10. And if that's the case, he's just ahead by 0.02 of a second on Michael Fisher. Ooh. I'm not sure we can top that, Schmitty. We certainly won't do it at the Bend next week. I'll put my money on that.
I don't know. That was incredible. Oh, that's got to be the best V race I've ever seen, I think.
Post-race investigation for the incident. Ryan Tate, Adam Lavis, lap 7, heat 1. And we are standing by for another 10 laps here of Formula V magic to get the penultimate round in the can. And don't forget, Porsches from St. Pete, as soon as we're done. Open split first up, elite split second up. Andrew Neil with me for that one. There will be a baton change. There will be a driver change. Schmitty out, Nearly in. And I think at the end of the day, Schmitty's ears will need a rest after this. We're here with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics, ladies and gentlemen. Without them, none of this is possible. Get around them, support them. They're the great people that have been such vitally important, valued supporters of this club for the longest time. Now, let's get ready to rock and roll for Heat 3. Brett Bradbury will hold pole position alongside Ryan Tate. Mark Register, John Simpson from 2, Derek Fitzgerald, Adam Proctor from 3, Tony Baker, Michael Fisher from 4, Lockie Purvis, and Michael Adams from 5. Braden Sagassa and John Merritt from 6, Glenn Cito and Sam Chapman from 7, Adam Lavis and Brendan Nealon from 8. Then Jordan Pianazzolo is yet to take his spot on the grid. He was in a little bit of discomfort last night, so he made such comment in our commentary broadcast thread, so we'll wait and see if he does take his position. He does. And then, of course, Tristan Yelland and Will Ramsden. So we've got a full grid. We actually made it to the final of the night with a full grid. Race 27 of the term for Formula V. Will it be as good as race 26? Let's find out. Brilliant start, Ryan Tate. Gets the whole shot on the inside of Brett Bradbury and leads the field to turn 1. It's one of those rare instances where pole was on the outside on the run down towards turn 1, and Ryan Tate uses that to his advantage, gets the whole shot from second and leads the field cleanly and comfortably through the first corner. Now they sort themselves out. And you're just waiting for it to blow up in smoke, aren't you? Look, we've had a relatively clean night at the front of this field, barring a couple of minor incidents. At what point does it erupt and explode? Uh-oh, there we go, right now. Mark Register off the road, sacrifices himself, stays out of the way of all the oncoming traffic. This is Willow Springs International Raceway for you, ladies and gentlemen. As I said earlier in the week, as I said last week, as I said when we first spoke about the calendar back in week 1, one of the great underrated circuits. Not hyped up enough as far as I'm concerned. Venues in world motorsport. More of this, please. Off goes Michael Fisher in the background. By the way, around the grounds the first time tonight. Adelaide 9:2.56 lead. The Western Bulldogs 2:3.15 at quarter time. Quarter time. That's almost as insane as what we're seeing here at Willow Springs. Round we go. 3 wide to the main straight. Common occurrence. Common practice tonight. Round we go. Across the start-finish line. Pick a lane, boys. Find a dance partner. Let's go. It's like line dancing. 2 lines. 1 of 3, 1 of 4. Now they fan out. 3 wide to turn 1. John Merritt needs a comeback win here after the disappointment of that post-race penalty in Heat 2. Brett Bradbury leads from Ryan Tate. They've got Lockie Purvis breathing down their neck. They've got Braden Sagasta, Glenn Cedar-Riddell, Derek Fitzgerald, John Merritt, Tony Baker, then Adam Proctor, Adam Lavis, the race 2 winner. Leading that next gaggle of cars through, which includes Pianazzola and Adams and Chapman and Yelland. And it's clean so far. But we've got another 8 laps to go. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, you and I are both having the same thought, Miller. Thank you. I'm glad somebody else has said it, Schmitke. Now I can share the blame rather than wear the lot. Now, we've got a rain delay in the cricket too, ladies and gentlemen. Australia, Bangladesh, second one-day international. Bangladesh 1-0 up in the series, and Australia 8 for 187. That was after 42 overs. So it's probably in Australia's best interest that it keeps trickling down in a considerable manner over there in Bangladesh, and this one gets washed out and they get to try again on Sunday. Down the main straight we go. Have a look at this. 3 wide. Yep, go for it. Through the middle goes Derek Fitzgerald. He wants the inside. He wants the middle lane. He gets it. He holds it. The run to turn 1. Merritt. Brett Bradbury still holding on a second. How good's that? Then Lockie Purvis up on his outside. Post-race investigation, including Sam Chapman and car number 640, which is Brendan Nealon. So Chapo down in 13th at the moment in a world of hurt. Next gaggle of cars coming through at the moment. Michael Adams, Pianazzola and Lavis trying to latch on with that battle pack. Chapman and Yellen behind them, but this battle pack is 9 deep. Lavis is gone! There will not be a repeat of what we saw in race 2. Not for Adam anyway. Proctor around the outside of Pianazzola. Bradbury's off the road. Brett Bradbury's charge. His time at the front has come to an abrupt end. Brett Bradbury still off the road, still in trouble. I think he's going to be on the tow rope if he can't get it out of there. They'll have to tow him. Have a look at that. Right, that's Braden Sagasta, isn't it? Pushing right along. Derek Fitzgerald's there as well. And in behind them is Glenn Cedar-Riddell. Pianazzola, Adams, Proctor, the next train through. The problem that Tate has got now is that Purvis is out in pursuit of Merritt, all on his lonesome. 3 wide. Sagasta's had enough of this. He pulls the trigger and he goes for it. Tony Baker's wide out of the final corner and on pit road. Sagasta to third. To P3 at turn 1. Around the outside comes Cito. Derek Fitzgerald's now on the outside. Ryan Tate in the middle. V's by a few seconds. Well, that's based on what I know of Queensland Raceway. But it has something to do with the aerodynamic open wheel versus tin top thing as well. So the V's are marginally faster, but the value for dollar is about even. I don't know what you have to do, Brett. What's happened there? If you, because you're still sitting off the road at the moment, and you're now in the chat thread. Oh, if you didn't have bad luck, you'd have none at all. There he is. There's a stationary yellow flag waving to alert drivers to the fact that the stranded car of Brett Bradbury is sitting there. Oh, geez, he got some help.
Wow,
now that explains.
Wow,
Jesus. That now explains why Brendan Tony Baker had to come to pit lane, I should say. And there was a secondary incident on the outside of that. John Simpson off the road again. I've seen more off-track alerts for Simo tonight than what I've seen in his entire GSRC association. Our great mate from Flash Graphics, not going on, not 100% sure what that's all about tonight for him. It's not been a night to remember. Yeah, exactly. Worst place for a driver to be is in the broadcast chat. So Bradbury with the mechanical. He's done. He's finally got himself back to pit lane. Tony Baker well off the train now with the fact that he's had to transit the lane as well. Have a look at this. So Purvis and Merritt have taken off. Sagassa's out in pursuit. Good luck. Good luck. Not sure he'll be able to do that, reel that deficit in. It's 2 seconds already. An inch is as good as a mile around here, especially considering that these two are working in tandem. They're not working singularly. If you're working on your lonesome, Schmitty, it's a lot harder to do, but because Purvis is there to push Merritt along and Merritt's there to drag Lockie Purvis along, it will be harder for Braden Sagassa to reel them in. More post-race investigations coming. Oh, boy.
Someone's going to be busy.
Not me, thankfully. Busy night for race control. I'm not sure they'd have it any other way, though. We certainly wouldn't in broadcast. We love the Formula Vs. As soon as they roll into town, we know that we've got our value for money here in the broadcast booth. We know we're going to get top-shelf entertainment. We're going to be up and about for the rest of the night. The excitement level's through the roof right here and now. Round onto the main straight. Merritt leads from Purvis. The margin back to the rest of them is 2 seconds, but have a look at how evenly stacked they are at the moment. Pianazzola's in there in sixth spot at the moment. Can he find his way through to the front of this pack? 3 wide we go. Ryan Tate from nowhere has himself a look at third on the run to turn 1. Go for it, boys. Win it or bid it. Win it or bid it. Tristan Yelland sits at position number 14 at the moment at the expense of Sam Chapman. Chapo on pit road with the black flag. Chapo's night is done. And thus ends the charge. And one potential opportunity to wrap up the championship has gone begging. He will have to come back next week. He won't be looking forward to that either, I don't imagine. The whole hope was that he would be able to fall back on the drop rounds. I'm not sure it's going to work for him because of the numbers that I crunched there earlier for you, particularly if Braden Sagassa continues along with these winning ways here and his top 5 efforts. I mean, he's only 4th at the moment, but he should be, I reckon, 3rd by the end of the race. The problem for them is that the pack here of 7 or 8, it's 7, Michael Adams being the last of those in 9th, it's 7 deep, but they're holding each other up, because the margin between them and Merritt and Purvis is growing. It's now out to 2.8. Round onto the main straight. This will be the commencement of lap 7. We'll have 4 to go. There's a 5-second penalty for Chapo, so, well, yeah, okay. We can put a line through that one. I'd say Chapo will have had a gutful of that by now. Contact with Tristan Yelland, 3 wide. Whoa! Did you see Braden Sagassa getting across to try and cover off Glenn Cito? He wasn't able to do it. Pianazzola got by as well. Oh no, Sagassa's gone back to 7th and Proctor's gone back to 9th. Oh boy. Championship defining moments here. And it's all looking pretty good if your name's Hot Lap. Lap 7. I reckon, Schmitty, I'm going to go one step further, right? Thornwiggett said that we have to have the Vs back next season. I'm not going to just say that we have to have them on a Thursday night. I'm going to say that we have to have it on a Monday night and on a Wednesday night in the entree slot as well. Give me as much of this as you could potentially pump into me.
Oh, I can put in a good word, but I'm not sure everyone would agree with that.
Like a good, not that I'm condoning it, but like a good heroin addict, this is our hit. This is our weekly pump me up. Give me as much of this as you possibly can. John Merritt, Lockie Purvis, Ryan Tate, Jordan Pianazzola and Glenn Cito Riddell. The top 5 here. Merritt and Purvis are taken off. So Merritt's got exactly the same equation as what he had in race 1, except it's the other 1-9 entry. It's Purvis, not Sagassa. And up on the outside there goes Glenn Cito Riddell. He's lost out to Michael Adams on the inside. Pianazzola's pushing Tate along now as they come back to the main straight. Adams has got all 4 wheels in the dirt. Oh, look at this. 5 wide. There it is. Second time tonight. That's not going to end well if they continue to tighten up. Thankfully, they got away with it. Proctor's got 2 wheels in the dirt on the entry to turn 1. Merritt and Purvis continue to push one another along. 3 to go. take to third on the inside. Proctor's going along with him. Absolutely, absolutely thawed. Oh, and healthy too. Maybe not for the vocal cords, but healthy for everything else. John Merritt, Lockie Purvis, Ryan Tate. So here's what's at stake, right? We saw Adam Lavis win earlier. We saw Braden Sagassa win earlier. John Merritt could be our third different winner of the night, but equally so could Lockie Purvis. And in fact, I reckon we've had that combination already this term. Sagassa winning race 1 at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. No, it was week 2. We saw Adam Lavis has had a race win here sometime this season. Yeah, there it was. So week 3, he won the second race at Summit Point. And Sam Chapman won races 1 and 3. But I'm certain we've had a week where we've had Lockie Purvis and Braden Sagassa win races 1 and 3 respectively. Yes, week 1, Sagassa wins race 1, Purvis wins race 3. Week 2, Sagassa wins race 1, Purvis wins Lockie won race 3. So yes, it's happened twice already this season. It could well happen again here. It could well happen again. And in fact, Lockie Purvis should have had the feature win at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, but he got a 5-second post-race penalty. And the win went to Adam Lavis. So those 3 names again. Those 3 names again at the back end of the season, featuring as prominently at the front as they did at the start. So Texas Motor Speedway is the venue that I'm going to nominate when we go oval racing in the V's. Aidan Cale talking about the new San Diego circuit. Thank you. Love the feedback already. Looking forward to seeing that in action at some point. On the platforms of the GSRC next term. Maybe not for Formula V, but certainly in one of our other divisions. Might be home to a GT3 round. Could be home to a sports car round. Who knows? Have you had a chance to look at it yet, Schmitty?
I have not. I haven't been in the sim since Monday night.
I wasn't going to mention it, so the fact that you mentioned Monday night, I'm not elaborating on that. Based on the fact that we were broadcasting your feature race when everything went, you know, up the proverbial.
Yeah, it was going all right at the start, and then Adam decided to get a little bit too close, and went, you know what, from there.
Absolutely. Round they come onto the main straight. Righto. So we've given up on the battle for first because it's 2 of them duking it out. The rest of them are going to duke it out. Here's the start of lap 10. White flag flies. 4 wide and a photo finish for third next time by the line. Let's go. One more time around at Willow Springs. The battle for third is on in earnest. Michael Adams has got it in his lap at the moment. Whoa, Ryan Tate to the dirt and to the inside, but Adams is up for the challenge and covers it off. Here comes Braden Sagassa. It's important that he gets through with a view to the championship. He needs to find a clear way through, but Ryan Tate and Michael Adams are giving him nothing, and here comes Adam Proctor to 5th as well. Tito minding his own business in 7th at the moment. Now, can Lockie Purvis find a way by John Merritt, or is Merritt about to snag another win in Disruptive Labs Formula V? We will soon find out. Here we go. Final half a lap. Into overtime we go. Unfortunately, we don't have the same sponsor for overtime as the NASCAR does with Credit One Bank. But it's something we should probably consider. Just from an economical, commercially viable standpoint. Oh no, Michael Adams and Adam Proctor. There's a big one at the back. Cito involved as well. It had to happen eventually. Something had to give. Meanwhile, Lockie Purvis has got his way to the front on John Merritt, and now it'll be a drag. Oh no, he's thrown it away. Purvis is wide, coming out of the final corner. Congratulations, John Merritt. Could be the championship leader at the end of the night. Merritt wins race 3. Purvis bowled it wide onto the final corner and lets victory slip right out of his grasp. It's almost like when Herschel Gibbs dropped the World Cup for South Africa. Ryan Tate, Braden Sagassa and Glenn Cedar are the top 5. Then Michael Adams, Adam Lavers, Derek Fitzgerald, Pianazola, Yelland, Ramsden, Nealon, Baker, Fisher, Register, Simpson and Chapman. Proctor had to come home on the tie rope. 3 front finish. That was for 10. Ramsden over Yelland and Nealon. There will be more to be said about that incident on the final lap. We'll try and have another look at it for you. Rocky Purvis, what was going on here? Oh, just a passenger at the end. Goodbye, chance of victory. Hello, John Merritt. Okay, so I stand by my previous statement. Race 26 better than race 27. Race 2 trumps race 3. But still, top quality entertainment all the way. That was what happened. So Proctor was involved, Riddell was involved, Adams was involved. Somehow Adams has got away with it. Or was it Pianazola? Because he'd come home in 9th in all of that as well. So it might have been Jordan. That was the third car involved in all of that. Proctor picks up a 10-second penalty. It matters very little because he's finished the race on the tow rope. Chapo's come home a dismal, disappointing 17th by his standards, but we know that he's working with the on-the-road setup. The Traveller's kit doesn't always work. What about that from Johnny Merritt? Purvis in for second. Good to see him back on the podium. I still want to know what the hell went on at the start of race 2, quite frankly. Perhaps his teammate might be able to shed some light for us. Braden, interesting night. Back in victory lane in race 1. Held off John Merritt. Unfortunately, his teammate couldn't do the same in race 3. But an interesting night, all things considered. And the championship aspirations still firmly intact, mate. Well done.
Yeah, it was quite the interesting race. A very big drafting pack, but yeah, just glad to survive it. Just get a few good results. Unfortunate for Sam to be caught up in a couple of dramas. But yeah, I don't know what that does to the championship implications, but I think Johnny Merritt might take the championship lead with that one.
Well, you are aware that he got a 5-second or 10-second penalty in race 2, aren't you?
Was that Johnny Merritt?
Yes.
Ah, I did not. That changes things.
The race control, the message that we saw on screen was that race control gave him a 10-second penalty for the contact on his own teammate to make matters worse for him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I don't know where that puts him, but I think that puts him quite far down.
We reckon it's going to put him down about 8th or 9th. We need to have another look at it, obviously, when Adam Lavers crunches the numbers a little bit later on. Here's the man love coming from your teammate in the comment section too, by the way, who's normally here in the booth with us on a Monday night. The champion-elect in Formula 3, of course, Aidan Cale. Mate, have you ever been involved in any Formula V racing as scintillating, as exhilarating as that, particularly race 2? That's the standout of the year as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, big time. That was a hold your breath Australia moment for that whole race. Yeah, that was great racing from everyone. I think there was a couple of bindles up and down the field, but my God, that was something else.
And actually, just 1 second here, mate. We've got a couple of guys jumping into the green room to have a chat, not least John Merritt. Nathan Brentnell's here as well, and that'll be interesting because I don't recall him being out there on the racetrack, but he might have a chat with us with regards to jumping behind the wheel of a Porsche tonight. We'll get to him shortly. While I've got you, though, Braden, race 3, at what point did you give up on trying to catch Merritt and Purvis? Because they just broke clear, and that was the magic trick in the end.
Yeah, once you get out of the draft, thanks, Mum. Thanks for your love.
Love it.
Yeah, once they get out of the draft, it's really hard, especially if they start working together. And I think that was Lottie's plan, because he knew the big train of cars that was behind me, and we were battling tooth and nail. So he knew he had to just pull a dab and just battle John by himself. and try and do what I did to John in first race, but I think he just ran a little bit wide and got a little bit sidetracked.
Now, talk me through what's going through the mind with regards to next week, with regards to Shelby Power Motorsport Park, the Bend, the West configuration. Will the racing be anywhere near as intense as what we saw tonight, or do you reckon it'll be a little bit tamer? Despite the fact that we go there, it's match point, it's somebody's championship for the taking, we just don't know who yet.
Yeah, I think my goal is to just stay as close to John as possible. You know, if I can't beat him, just be behind him. Actually, I know how quick John is, and he is just rapid in anything he drives. So if I could snag a championship from him, you know, I'll be counting my lucky stars.
Let's just quickly analyse a couple of other little things here. It must have been nice to be able to, given how strong and effective the slipstream was tonight, mate, must have been nice to be able to hold him off in the run to the main straight. We were a little bit concerned as to who wanted to lead to the straight and whether you wanted to lead to the straight or not, but you made it work in race one.
I did see John. He was lifting a bit, so I thought I would try and play the same tactic with him. So we were both lifting down the back straight to the final corner, and as soon as I heard him lift a little bit too much, I put the foot down and just zigged and zagged from zigged and zagged until the line, and yeah, just got him.
Indeed you did, and I was trying to compare it to Joseph Newgarden, the way that he won those two Indy 500s. Very similar tactics, weaving left to right, of course, against Marcus Ericsson one year and Pato Award the next. The names eluded me at the time, but I got the reference into Newgarden, and that's all I wanted. But it's amazing how oval-esque that racing was tonight. Would you welcome a round on an oval? Because I'm lobbying for it, maybe Texas Motor Speedway or something like that.
I was actually joking with Lottie that they should have pretty much just chucked it around Daytona or Atlanta or something, because that's pretty much what it was. It's just big pack racing.
There you go, Schmitty. Whoever's organising the next season of Formula V racing, we want Texas Motor Speedway and Atlanta Motor Speedway, okay? Can you make that happen for me?
I'll do my best.
Good boy. Excellent. Lovely. Stay tuned. Formula V oval racing coming soon to the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We're going to make it happen. May as well have been after what you saw tonight at Willow Springs. I don't think we're going to see anything better than that this season. And maybe for the rest of the year. That could well be the race of the entire 2026 calendar year on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Unlucky that I guess you weren't able to get up there to the start, to the podium in race 3, mate. But again, consistency, bank the points, and worry about the permutations next week, yeah?
Oh, 100%. I knew I had a 10-point lead over John, so I just had to keep my nose clean, don't try any stupid moves. And yeah, like I said, unfortunate for Sam to get involved, but that helps me in John's championship implications.
Indeed, it did, and it was very nice to see as well, mate. Hey, I've got to get to John, and then I've got to get out of here because we've got Andrew Neal standing by to take the baton over from Matt Schmidtke. So who would you like to thank before I let you go, please?
Obviously, my mum, my granddad, all the Rd-9 boys, especially Lucky. Unfortunate for him to get caught up, but yeah, just you guys for putting this amazing broadcast on, and I can't wait to watch it back.
No, we're looking forward to watching it back as well, mate. Very nicely done. Congratulations. I'm glad that you were able to do your own thank yous tonight and not have your teammates stealing your thunder. We'll see you Monday night.
Thank you, Zach. Have a good one.
Well done to Braden Sagassa. Hey, Johnny Merritt, that's a bit rough, isn't it? That's a bit steep and a bit of a adding insult to injury, salt in the wound sort of moment, getting a 10-second penalty for taking your own teammate for a ride through the bushes.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know I did.
Well, we saw it on the screen. So if it was put up falsely, then obviously we'll retract it. But that's what it said on the screen. It was giving you a 10-second penalty for the contact on Tony, which was unfortunate. But given how tight and bunched up everything was, I'm surprised we didn't have a bigger crash than that, to be honest.
Yeah, I might talk to race control. Well, I actually called out, I'm on your left, and he heard go left and turned left into me. But anyway, interesting penalty.
Oh dear. Unlucky in some respects, mate. If it doesn't stand though, that's a pretty good night out for you, all things considered. A first, a second, and I think it was a fifth in the end there at the post on the comeback trail after that contact. Did you sustain any sort of damage in that?
I don't think so, mate. I think, like, I'm just lucky it probably didn't wipe us completely out at the time, but I don't think I had damage, or at least it didn't say so.
No, well, that's very fair, and I guess as well, even if you did, at least being the last lap, you were able to get home and not have to worry about any potential nursing or mechanical meatballs or anything like that. So couldn't have happened at a better time or a worse time as well at the same time, because let's be honest, the Pulse Tuning boys were there and they meant business tonight. You had 3 of them in the race at the start of that final lap, and it was, until that moment, it was looking like you might have been able to sweep the podium.
Yeah, no, it was a good run for the boys, and good draft. I mean, it created some good racing. It's a bit nerve-wracking at this end of the season when you're 3 and 4 wide. So a few back-out moments, and sadly that first race I didn't time my run right.
No, not at all. But in saying that, incredible racing, tight pack racing, similar to what we see the NASCARs on Daytona and Talladega, mate. It's an exhilarating sort of adrenaline rush when it's that clean, when it's that exciting, when it's that unpredictable.
Oh, exactly. When you get sort of 8 and 10 cars in that train, it's and particularly that complete front group, it's amazing. You know, the last race was. Well, a good result was probably a bit boring compared to the others.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, race 2 was the pick of the bunch. Race 3, however, you and Lockie, Stephen Bradbury's got a moment for you because he led you back to the main straight, but he bowled it well wide and couldn't jag it back. At which point you knew you were home and hosed, mate. Must have been nice to get one up on the 1-9 stable, despite the fact that they had you measure through Braden in race 1.
Yeah, I think Lockie was sort of watching the mirrors and tried to get away from the draft, and unfortunately ran off the track, so made the job that much easier. Nice to get the last race anyway.
Oh, that's exactly right. Hey, we've got to wrap it up very shortly, mate. But before we do, can we just acknowledge the fact that when we look at the points table, you were only 10 points off the lead coming into the night, and you gave these blokes a 2-round head start. Could you be on the cusp, on the precipice of doing what Denchi did all those terms ago in GT4, arriving term 3 and wrapping it up and taking the glory?
Mate, it'd be a good result. I mean, it means anything in the last round. You know, you've got no margin for error without a drop round, so just hopefully a good race, and all 3 contenders can have a good run.
How do you feel about the Ben Motorsport Park, the West configuration? I feel as though that's the best configuration for racing that venue offers. Certainly the V's.
Mate, I haven't loved it initially, but it's grown on me probably as a track. So, and you're right, the West is probably the best configuration.
Indeed it is. Now, what's on John Merritt's racing radar for the next few days, please?
Oh, mate, I'm actually in a bit of a server at the moment. And then we'll see what we can do, whether we make Friday for the Enduro or Saturday night, and then hope for the 86s next week.
The server at the moment doesn't happen to be our Porsche Cup, does it?
No, it's not, mate. I was going to do it. I did 10 laps earlier, to be honest, but too much concentration required for that.
Well, that's fair. I'll pay that. Well done, mate. Congratulations. Brilliant performance. I mean, obviously, one little moment there that you'll go and have a chat to race control about. But nonetheless, you're right there. You're in contention. Chapo didn't have a clean run tonight, so he's probably burning one of his 2 very good drop rounds that he had up his sleeve. But that's not enough to keep him comfortable going into next week. So all to play for with 3 races left. Who knows what the Ben's going to offer up. But all the very best to you when we get there, mate. Hopefully we're having a chat to you this time next week.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate the broadcast and the club for the series.
Very nicely done. John Merritt. Magnificent performance tonight. Held off Lockie Purvis there in race 3. Purvis had it, and then I don't know what happened. There's 2 unanswered questions with regards to Lockie Purvis. Hopefully he'll come in and answer them for himself on Monday night. Where the hell was he when the race started, race 2? Because he was nowhere to be seen. He was in no man's land. He was in pit lane. And then race 3, he's put it so wide on the final corner that no one was going to be able to gain that back. Had it been the penultimate lap, yeah, maybe he would have caught John back up, but there was no stopping John once that mistake was made. Fantastic. Matt Schmidtke, final thoughts?
That was pretty wild racing there, but it was good racing, not a lot of incidents compared to some other weeks. So, yeah, good racing. And I'm going to jump in the Porsche Cup, and you've got a few cars there, but I'll make up the field for you.
Very good. I look forward to seeing you out there, mate. Thank you for that. Thank you to you out there as well. That's part 1 of Thursday Night Motorsport done and dusted. Schmidtke out, Neil in. We swap the V's for the Porsches. We continue going sprint racing. We go from Willow Springs to St. Petersburg, from the West Coast to the East Coast. Our 3rd street circuit offering of this week, the 9th week of Term 2 of 2026. Adelaide 11-3, 69 lead. The Western Bulldogs 5-3, 33 in the AFL. The cricket still delayed by a wet outfield. Australia rate for 187 there against Bangladesh. Bangladesh lead the series 1-0. And, of course, at the moment, the Rabbitohs lead the Broncos 28-0 on the stroke at half-time in Thursday night NRL. All happening, and we've had 3 epic races that we're not about to forget the hurry here on the Willow Springs International Raceway in Disruptive Labs Formula V. We do it with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrc.inc, and Flash Graphics. Stay with us. Porsche Cup on the other side of a short break.